Hello and welcome to the Behaviour Pod. I'm Samantha Delakia, the founder of SPD Tuition and Coaching, the creator of the Behaviour Balance System and the Behaviour Bank. And you are listening to Emma and I discussing all things positive touch, because this is your one-stop shop in a podcast when it comes to behaviour for big humans and small. Emma, I am so excited to be having these chats with you because they are so good, even if I do say myself.
Oh, thank you. No, it's lovely to chat. I love talking things, all behaviour and also reflexology in particular,
Yes,
obviously.
absolutely. So if you have missed the first of the series, Emma is a reflexologist and a Indian head massage specialist.
Yeah,
Am I
yeah,
getting it
and
right, Emma?
yeah, that's right. So I'm a holistic therapist, but yeah, I specialise in reflexology, both hand and feet, and Indian head massage.
Absolutely. And she is one of our Behaviour Bank experts. She's awesome. I cannot tell you how wonderful those magic hands of hers are. They really are fabulous. And not only does she do the job really well herself, but she does teach it incredibly. So if you have not head over to the first of the series, because she's given away some lovely tips there. You can give it a go with your little ones or just for yourself. And we're going to be getting back onto our behaviour train right now, because we have got another question from one of our TBB members to answer, all about positive touch and behaviour. And throughout this series, we have been looking at a little bit of a game. We've been gamifying because we do love a bit of a gamify, and we've been playing this or that. So this session or this episode is all about hands or feet. So Emma, hands or feet, my friend?
Well, you can do reflexology on both because the way that the reflexology works is it's pressing on the nerve endings, and we have nerve endings in our hands that run up our arms, and then it goes through all of our organ system, central nervous system, down to our feet. We have 7,000 nerve endings in each of our feet, which is
Wow,
crazy, isn't it? That is a lot of nerve endings.
that
So
is.
by putting pressure on the nerve endings, the way I describe our nerves, our nervous system is like hose pipes of energy flowing through our body, sending messages. So if you press on the end of that hose pipe, you're going to have a positive reaction in the correlating part of the body. So wherever that hose pipe is running through, you're going to help give the body a bit of a kick up the bottom to focus on that organ, focus on that system, and really help it to rebalance, as well as just helping, having any kind of massage, any kind of touch therapy is extremely relaxing, gets you into that relaxed state, which is then going to help your body to repair, recuperate, recover. Almost like plugging your phone in. We plug our phones in to recharge, don't we? We need to make sure we're also recharging our own bodies too.
We absolutely do. I always found resting really challenging, as anyone that knows me will know. I do not rest very easily, but I recently was trying to reframe this and swap this into like healing mode. So
Yeah.
rather than thinking of it as resting, I've been trying to think of it as healing, because sometimes it is so hard to prioritize rest. Well, I am totally speaking for myself. Some people might be like, "No, I can absolutely do that." I'm not. I'm not that kind of girl. So rest for me has really been tough, but I absolutely prioritize healing, because I guess I associate being healed with being able to do more. And that's always my mission in the world, is just to do more and to help more people. So this is the aim of my game right now, is to get into healing mode.
It's so important because when you are in that healing mode, that rest and digest state, that is when your body is functioning. Like from a physical point of view, that is when your body is functioning at its optimum. Your digestive system is working properly. Your immune system is working sufficiently. All of the different systems and organs are able to function at their optimum when you're in that rest and digest state, or that healing. You've given yourself that healing process. Obviously, we need to get into our fight or flight to be able to achieve things, to be able to perform, to be able to stand up in front of a class and take one of your sessions. You need that energy, but then you need to make sure you're topping your levels up as well. Otherwise, you just end up depleted.
Absolutely. And that, my friends, is when we get burnt out. And I've
Mhm.
worked with so many teachers and parents that have hit burnout. and are like, oh my goodness, you know, because we don't get the opportunity to heal, to, you know, recharge, to put back in what we're using on a daily basis. And it's not easy work supporting other humans, you know, whether they are big humans or small humans. Supporting other humans is hard work. So this question is really quite an important one, because it's around how to teach self-regulation. And I think that this is such a great one, because when we are talking about self-regulation or any form of emotional regulation, which is balancing your emotions so that you're not, you know, in, I guess, experiencing that real high intensity in any shape or form. It can be huge excitement versus huge anger. You know, it's that intensity of emotion rather than the emotion itself that is the dysregulation. So in terms of us trying to manage that all the time through co-regulation, it's a lot on us. If we can teach them the skills to self-regulate, then we get a little bit more, I guess, freedom for us. Is that
Yeah, also,
okay to
no,
say?
no, definitely. You know, it's, yeah, you can't do it all. It's
Yeah,
delegation helps you be a better individual, because
yeah,
you're, but it's not also taking the pressure off yourselves as the carer, but you're also then giving the
empowering for them.
recipient the autonomy as well. Like if they're given the skills at a young age, ideally, but it can be taught at any age. But the younger you teach them, they can then use those skills on a daily basis to support their physical and their emotional well-being, which then they're going to, you know, they will benefit from that for life. So, you know, a perfect example is my 8-year-old. Obviously, she knows reflexology points because I'm constantly doing them on her. But she's one of her friends. He when he gets overwhelmed with emotion, she actually does reflexology on him. You know, she's taught her other peers in the class, and they all are doing touch therapy. So they all like go around their friend and they all do a little massage on him to
I
help
love
him
that.
with his regulation. And it's like, that is really powerful. If you can empower people with simple tools to support their well-being, they then take them on and teach their peers. That's just phenomenal.
Ah, that's gorgeous, isn't it? I remember when I first started teaching, I mean, it feels like so long ago, like nearly like 15 years ago, my goodness. And we used to have positive touch in the classroom. There was a big push on it. This was a very long time ago. And then, of course, it was the don't touch anyone stage of life after that. But we used to sit in a circle and rub each other's back. And it was so nice. All the children would sit in a circle, like they'd all just like rub each other's back, and we'd like either have a story like an audio book or something, or we would just literally just do that for a few minutes. And we used to do it after lunch or after playtime, and it was gorgeous. And sometimes the children, you'd see them, like I remember having a really boy heavy class one year. I think I was in my like third year of teaching, and I remember being told by another member of staff, like, they are not going to want to rub each other's backs. And I was like, no, they will. They will want that. They didn't initially. It did take a little bit of practice, but as we know, practice makes progress. So we did make progress, and they did. And they sat around in this circle and they would rub each other's back and they would laugh. And it was just so gorgeous to watch. And actually, it just shifts your energy, doesn't it? It shifts the gear. And you know, anyone that has a boy heavy class will know that the energy levels can get quite high. That class was a very competitive class as well. We had to really kind of step back from any competing activities because it was just too much for them. But it was so nice to shift energy with them. And I know sometimes when people start talking about energy, you know, you get the eye roll. But please stick with us, guys. Don't stop here. But it is just nice to shift a gear, isn't it? And to embrace that moment of centeredness and like calmness.
But you know, you say about energy and people rolling their eyes. We are made of energy. Like, we have nervous energy. But that's what nerves are. It is energy,
Yeah.
neurons running around our body. Like that, you can't argue with the fact we are made up of energy. We are balls of energy. Like that. That's what it is. And you can, obviously there are different terms, different ways you can interpret that. But and that's what reflexology does. You are supporting the nervous system. You're supporting that energy flow around your body. And sometimes it does get a bit stuck. So, you know, like a kink in the hose pipe. So if we've got say we're feeling worried about something, we're feeling anxious, you get that kind of, that, you know, the butterflies in your tummy, you can get a tummy ache. You know, children often get tummy aches when they feel anxious. That is all linked with their nervous system, and it then has an impact on their emotional side as well. So if you can support their physical nervous system, either by doing it themselves or you doing it for them on their hands or their feet, then that is going to then help them with that emotional regulation as well, with that emotional well-being.
I love that. And if you are listening to this thinking about energy being a bit too much out there, we talk a lot about it being vibrations in the body. The idea that emotions are vibrations in the body. So in terms of our resources for the behavior system, the behavior balance system, and in the behavior bank, we have lots of resources to support this. But we have like little vibration emojis that are, you know, there for each of the many different experiences of emotions that we have. But the idea is that children start to recognize the vibrations that they have. Are they big vibrations? Are they small vibrations? Where in the body is it? I know we're coming away a little bit from the idea, but this is how you teach self-regulation. You know, it's not just one thing. It is absolutely multi-layered. There are so many aspects to our emotional regulation, and when we start to help our young people understand their emotions better and their physical connection better, they can start to really unpick that for themselves, which I just get so excited about.
No, it's amazing. It's incredible stuff.
Love it. So thinking about teaching the children or the young people that we work with or live with an approach for their, I guess, their physical input when it comes to self-regulation, their physical touch. One of the things that I love is that this is for all ages. I know we've said it before, we will say it again, it's for all ages, and that it's not just for, you know, pregnant ladies. I think that's the first time I met reflexology, actually, was when I was pregnant. You know, it's the go-to for pregnancy, isn't it? Reflexology.
Yeah, because it supports the body, all the different systems of the body, but for, you know, pregnant ladies, it's that hormone balance as well. So a lot of people have it to give you that moment of calm, to get the body in the best possible state, ready for natural labor. And then, you know, when you get into that latter stage, it really, you know, when I'm doing a reflexology on someone that wants to bring on natural labor, I really go to town on the endocrine system, on the key points on the spine that feeds in. So yeah, it's amazing for that, but it is so powerful from any age. So I love teaching new parents how to do it on babies, because the more you do it on them, either on them or teach children as they get older to do it on themselves, you know, that is going to then support that. It's never going to do anything negative. It's only going to be a positive support of their physical and their emotional well-being. So the more you do it, it then becomes, you know, it's your subconscious. If you're doing it on a daily basis, as we said before, you know, you grab a foot, grab a hand rather than your phone, you know. So the more you're doing it, if you're just doing it every night while you're lying on the sofa, you know, you're going to be just supporting them. It becomes subconscious and you'll do it without even thinking. So
Absolutely. And I have, since meeting Emma, I have absolutely been focusing on this. And sometimes my son's like, get off. Because I'm like, give me a foot. What are you doing? You know? And it is so lovely. And I know we're going to come back round to this, and we're going to talk about this in more depth in the next episode. But it really does make such a difference, doesn't it? Even if they don't want to be touched. And this is something that came up when we were talking about how to support the teaching of self-regulation when it comes to reflexology and positive touch, is because they can do it themselves, they don't need to be touched. Do you want to just kind of elaborate a little bit on that, Emma? Because I just think this is such an important thing for everyone to kind of hear about.
Yeah, so because, you know, you can, as I said, you can do it on your hands or your feet. Your feet are more susceptible because our hands become desensitized because you're using them all the time. And also when you're doing it on your feet, obviously, you know, if someone's doing it on you, you can get into a deeper relaxation state. But if you are doing it on yourself, like if a child has got themselves they don't want to be touched, that's fine. Teaching them some key points on their hands or their feet. Just think about kids, they're a lot more flexible than we are as adults. Depends on the adult, but I was speaking, for myself. My child could
Oh,
definitely
me
find
too.
points on her feet that I couldn't reach myself. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can teach points on their hands and their feet that then they can do themselves. They've got that autonomy. They've got that kind of like, I can feel the vibrations. I can feel that fizziness creeping up in me. I know there are some key points that I can press on my hands or my feet that is going to help me engage that parasympathetic nervous system.
Yeah.
So that obviously they wouldn't necessarily use that language, but it's gonna help me take myself out of this fizzy state, out of this vibration state, and help me get into that more relaxed. I think when you talk about the different colors, my children always talk about the different colors. It's like taking yourself from that red state into that green state, isn't it? From like a traffic light point of view. But yeah, it's as I said, it is for everyone. So I'm teaching parents to do it on their newborn babies through to palliative care. And I've told you about my 8-year-old that does it on her peers. They'll then take it on, they'll show people that they teach to do it. So he knows some key points as well. So really, really powerful stuff.
Absolutely. I think it's so, so incredible that children are able to learn this, use this, share this with each other for shared regulation as well, and really kind of, I guess, feel empowered in doing so. So I think definitely, and for the this or that, for me, it's definitely feet. I absolutely loved having reflexology done on my feet. I thought it was just so, so relaxing. Definitely gets me into the healing state, into the ready to recharge state. So if you are ever able to, then do pitch up and get yourself a bit of reflexology for yourself, not just for your young person, because it really is
All
so
ages.
lovely.
Yeah. No, I get it myself. I
Yes.
perform it on people, but I will always once a month get a reflexology for myself because it gives me that permission to have that moment of healing. Because we're right, we're doers, we just constantly on the go, especially as parents of young children too. It takes a lot to allow you permission to stop.
Yes.
And I've definitely, as I've got older, I'm more accepting of practicing what I preach, but also giving myself, it's okay, I'm going to sit on the sofa and read my book for a bit, because actually that's going to be me charging my battery, and then I'll be able to then be more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not
Present.
better. I don't want to say better, but just be fully charged so that I can then
Or like
bring.
feel better. I guess it's the
Exactly.
feeling better. It's not the doing better. Again, it's coming away from the idea of the doings all the time. We're not
It's
the
the feeling.
doings. Just being better in
Right.
ourselves, feeling better in ourselves, is so, so important. I recently started to I know the weather's getting marginally better over here in the UK, depending on where you are in the world listening to this. But I've started to grab a cuppa and sit on the patio outside in the mornings with a book, or just nothing and sitting and just listening to the birds. I'm very fortunate where I live, there's lots and lots of birds in the morning. And my son has also started to come out and listen with me, which is nice, although he's cracked out his bike recently, which is, a little bit noisy for my liking. So I'm like, hey, you're spoiling my zen moment.
Yeah.
But it's really nice because it just starts the day in that gear, which is really relaxed, and actually I found that our preparation for school, initially I was like, oh my goodness, I don't have time for this. Fortunately, we're up at like 5 o'clock in the morning because he's a very early riser, but we do have plenty of time in the mornings, but that worry that we'll be late, but actually everything seems to run a bit smoother because we're in that gear. I used to kind of get up and do my workouts, and I still love to do that, but we're in a slightly higher charge then, so we're running around getting stuff done, and you can see it. They're like little mirrors, aren't they? If I am pumped up from a workout and I'm like, right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, then I get that in response from my son, and I remember it being very, very much like that in my classrooms as well, versus me kind of just taking that moment in the morning to breathe, and then go forwards with the day. It's just,
Oh, it's honestly, it's so important. And we won't always be able to bring that state. But yeah, being out with nature, highly recommend everyone gets outside and just listens to the birds, looks at the flowers. They're all coming up at the moment. Like take those moments because that will support your well-being. That will that's another perfect example of recharging yourself. But no, the whole kind of breathing piece, it's sometimes challenging to teach children how to stop and breathe, isn't it? So I just want to talk about a couple of little breathing exercises that I do. So when you are teaching them, showing them the key reflex points on their hands or their feet, but then there's the whole hot chocolate breathing exercise. Now, I think we've spoken about this before, but it's like teach children to imagine they're holding a hot chocolate. And then what they're going to do is they're going to breathe in, they're going to smell that hot chocolate. So they're going to breathe in and smell it. And then they're going to breathe out and they're going to try and cool that hot chocolate down. Okay, so slowly breathing in and they're going to breathe out quickly. So then it means that in breath is longer, out breath. So that's a nice, simple little exercise there.
yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to pretend they're having a hot chocolate? I love that. Absolutely. And we've got lots and lots of breathing activities that you can do. If you are a TBB member, you will be able to access all of this stuff online as well. So yeah, absolutely try and bring them into your day. And it's not just for in the mornings. This is constantly available, you know, to us. Breathing, our hands and our feet, they are readily available whenever we need them. So yeah, lean into it whenever we can, right?
For sure.
Awesome. Well, this was a wonderful, wonderful chat. Thank you so much for joining Emma and I. We are loving exploring all of these questions. So thanks for sharing these questions, guys. We appreciate this. You have been listening to Emma and Sam today. We are here in the Behaviour Pod, the one-stop shop when it comes to talking all things behaviour for big humans and small. And you can find us hanging out in the only bank in the world for supporting 360 behaviour. It is the one and only Behaviour Bank, or TBB. Emma, you weren't quite ready for me there, were you? Shall we do it
No,
again?
I wasn't.
You ready?
Okay.
Where can they find us, Emma?
In the Behaviour Bank.
Emma was looking at me like, oh my gosh, I know it's coming.
You caught me off guard, sorry.
I did. It's okay. It's okay. It is the one place that you can invest in the support for yourself and your family. It saves you time and energy, and it ensures that your children profit in the future. Yes, absolutely. Come and join us over in the Behaviour Bank if you are not a member already. Where have you been? And we look forward to catching up with you in the third episode of the Behaviour Pod. Ooh, another one done, Emma. Thanks, guys.